There we go. It's looking good. Going live. All right. Okay, we are live on Mr. CJ Wallace's Velocity channel. Thank you, CJ, for allowing us to be here. I want to have some amazing updates for a lot of you folks. You've been tied into us for the last, year, learning about business credit. You've been learning about velocity banking. You've been learning about how to improve the financial situation for yourself, your business, and just other folks' lives in general. Now, currently, we have some really cool information that we wanted to bring to you and update you on. Right now, due to the current state of the economy, there's a little bit of uncertainty. So we want to bring you some certainty when things are uncertain. Now, as of right now, what is being unrolled every single day is new programs, new reliefs for business owners. Now, a lot of folks have been working on building their business credit and utilizing that in a way that they are not using their social security number. Other folks have a good credit built and have been leveraging that to grow their business credit quicker. Today, I'm going to talk a little bit about setting up the process of building your business credit, but also before we really dive into that, I want to give you some really cool updates that came from the SBA. So the SBA has some relief programs. They're basically being unrolled to different states literally every single day. Washington, they have pretty much the biggest benefits coming out right now. And I mean, New York, there's really, because of the coronavirus, the COVID-19, they can't unroll these programs out quick enough. And it's interesting to see, since there's a lot of shutdowns, restaurants, even logistics are suffering, gyms, barbershops, I mean, you name it, everybody is feeling the impact of what's taking place. And so one thing that is not being restricted right now is business lending. Literally, JP Morgan Chase, the Fed, the government are looking at how they can start to pump more money, loans, lines of credit into businesses right now as we speak. But the question is, where do you actually go to access all that? We've been talking as Wise Guys and Ties. My name is Ray Fleming. We've been talking about how we are going to actually be helping folks navigate the waters, especially in these uncertain times. We're offering, our normal consultations. We're giving away 30 minutes of our time for free just to strategize and talk with business owners right now. It's a little bit different from what we would normally be doing, but we can look at, hey, are you looking for immediate assistance and relief through different lines of credit, loans? How can we get these quickly and effectively? But also, if you are in a situation where, hey, I had to, people are worried about spending money, or my business is seeing the after effects of this, there's actually no better time than now to start building your business credit, because of the underwriting guidelines are being loosened to really fuel the economy, especially because the economy, from a standpoint of what is actually taking place, it's strong. There's not any real weaknesses as far as anything besides the as far as what's actually taking place. So I'm going to dive into that a little bit more. I'm going to share my, oh, you know what? I've been looking at this stuff and I just realized I'm not even sharing my screen with you folks. All right, so here's the SBA.gov website. We're talking about the updates to the states that are currently being, largely impacted. And like I said, here in Arizona, they just shut down restaurants, gyms, any public gathering places, and it's been happening across the country. So I expect Arizona's program to be out in the next few days. California, Florida, like we mentioned, everything is kind of taking place right now, and it's really cool for the businesses, because if you know what to do right now, you're going to be able to weather this storm, and this could be going on for a couple months. The other aspect of what we help folks do, and I'm going to use our system, which is the Business Credit Builder, just to kind of give you something that you can follow along with on your screen as we're talking about these items today. In our Business Credit Builder, one thing I did want to talk to you today is, hey, if you're in the process of, wanting to start your business, you need to get an EIN number, because that's one of the first things you're going to have to actually do to be able to build business credit. Now I'm going to go in here, and as we what you're looking at right now is the Wise Guys and Ties Business Credit Builder program. It's a software that we use to help us build business credit. I'm going to use this as an instructional program and a learning tool today to illustrate some really great things that you can do to get your business started, especially if you're in the phase right now where, hey, I don't know what's happening with my work. I got to start my business. Well, one thing that you're going to have to do is you're going to have to make sure that before you jump right into that, make sure that the credibility of your business is set up. Now, on our page, we've been talking for the last couple of weeks on each of these. On the Wise Guys and Ties YouTube, we've been talking in depth on business name, business address, business entity, and I'll recap some of those for you today. For example, business name. If you're thinking about starting your business, you want to have a good business name. So in here, we got a couple trainings, and I'll really give you the gist of what is going on. When you start a business, you want to make sure that you can have it trademarked. You want to make sure that nobody else is using your business name. So wherever you're located, whatever state you're in, you want to do a search on the Secretary of State or the Corporation Commission to make sure that nobody else is using that current name. If somebody is, also make sure you can go ahead and find your business name as a website. So the domain name, go ahead and buy that up. But before you do that, you want to make sure you have a good name, and first and foremost, that nobody else is using it. Second, that and so we have a little tab here that people can search directly for the Secretary of State. Let's say that you are wanting to start a business in California. So you would actually need to go to businesssearch.sos.california.gov. And then down here, you could search for the business name and see if, let's just say you wanted to start a trucking company called Max Trucks. I don't know why that was the first thing that came to mind. You go into looking for an LLC or corporation. You can go through each one. What are you going to be setting up? You're going to be setting up, say, an LLC. And let's take a search here. Nothing is really popping up under Max Trucks. Let's look at corporation names. Nothing there. Let's see, begins with, we'll search that. Nope, no results. So if you want to start a business in California called Max Trucks, that might be okay to go. The other thing we're going to have to search is if it is trademarkable. But let's go back here. However, we need to make sure that this is not a restricted industry item. So there's things like ammunition, bail bonds, check cashing, energy, oil, finance, gaming, gambling, loans, speculative securities, pawn shops, political campaigns, public administration, X-rated products. Any business that is in this area, or the business name could be perceived to be in this area. So if you're like Max's Ammunition, every single computer system is going to red flag that and create denials automatically just because it's in a restricted industry. Very important to understand. So we want to make sure that you have a good business name. Also a good business address. Where are you going to be located? Are you going to be located at your home address? Are you going to have an office? Especially if right now with some, are you going to be able to get an office? If you're starting up, then you may not have the funds to actually do a full build out on an office. You may not have the revenue coming in. And especially in startup mode, you may be first needing to get this going before you even bring in the revenue. There's a lot of virtual addresses that you could use. These are some of the resources that we have. So DaVinci, that's a network of virtual offices or executive offices. A lot of these places are office buildings that you can rent out offices by the hour, the week, the month, the year, and share it with other business owners. The other great thing about this is you can utilize it for just your mailing address and to receive your mail. So all of these, Regis, Alliance, DaVinci, these are all networks. You can sometimes use these to find locations in your local area. And then I always recommend that you shop around, do your due diligence, find out what the best price is. Well, if you go through DaVinci, what price is that for the office down the street? Or let's say that you just locate an office locally and find out what their prices is. They may have the same service as DaVinci, and it may be more expensive. Or going through DaVinci is cheaper. It just depends. So especially in the startup phase, we're gonna try to help you in any way, shape, or possible save money on the startup. And so you gotta make sure you have a good business address too. Let's go back here, business entity. So we talked extensively about this last week on the Wise Guys and Ties YouTube channel. But business entity, really, are you going to need an LLC, an S Corp, a C Corp? I strongly recommend, because there's a lot of things taking place on YouTube as far as trainings on where you should set up your company. Whichever state you live in, whichever state you plan on doing business in, make sure that that's where your LLC is. If you're in Nevada and you plan on doing business in Nevada, and you hear online to maybe go to Wyoming or something and set up a C corporation, well, do you really need a C corporation? If you're just a little startup little business and it's only you don't have employees, you don't have all sorts of other things, I most likely am going to take a stab and say that you do not need a C corp. But it just depends on the type of business. Every situation is unique. That's why we're offering right now free 30-minute consultations, just to throw around the ideas, see what it is that you're wanting to do. Or maybe you already have a C corporation and you're trying to get funds, or you have an LLC, or you have an S corp. Whatever the situation, we are literally here. We're working from home, or sometimes we're at the office, but with technology, we can meet virtually. If you want to just be on the phone, you want to create a Zoom webinar, we can walk you through whatever your situation is. And this is the beautiful thing. Just because in-person situations are getting kind of restricted temporarily, it doesn't mean that we can't meet through Zoom. You can't meet through YouTube. You're already here. And we're here to help you. Just want you to know that. So SBA has a lot of great information on what type of business entity. We can also plug you into, trainings from my CPA. He's got a lot of private trainings that we have access to that we can, send you links to, and, to try to figure out, hey, is an LLC right? Are you in trucking? Are you in real estate? Are you, what is your business? Are you a handyman? Are you a contractor? Are you a beauty company? Are you an online retailer? Each situation is unique. And like I said, I'm not a CPA, attorney, financial advisor in any way, shape, or form. My partner Joseph Smith and I, we're just in CJ Walls too. We're entrepreneurs that have had some success in starting businesses, and we're looking to help other folks really go down the same path. And not so much as all the pros and cons of the success, which is always important, what works, but more importantly, you need to understand what does not work. Because if you understand what does not work, it can curb your learning curve. And we all learn from failures, but it doesn't have to be your failure. If you can learn from the failures of others, which is what I love, why CJ's on this channel putting out amazing, amazing content. He's talking about velocity banking, strategies on debt down, pay down. Now, what happens if you don't have the good credit? How are you going to get the lines of credit? Well, there's secured lines, but what if you want to start a business? How do we actually mold everything together? We implement advanced velocity banking strategies for your business and able to access lines of credit that way. The one thing that they are working on restricting right now is I'm seeing a lot of more denials when people should have approvals on the personal side. This is a big problem right now because of the state of the economy, they are restricting the personal lending. I mean, I had a guy yesterday I was talking to, he's looking at getting a HELOC, but the problem is he is in a situation where he doesn't know if he's going to be able to make his payments. And if that starts to report negatively, which right now it's kind of, hey, if you don't have money coming in, it's a tight situation. The beautiful part is they're loosening up business lending. So if you're looking at starting a business, no better time than now to really move forward in that. And also, what else we're going to talk about today? We're going to talk about your EIN number. So you're going to have an EIN number. This is basically the tax ID number for your business. Works very similar to your social security number. It's a way that the government can keep track of you, track the taxable revenue. Now, how do you actually apply for your EIN? Couple different ways. First and foremost, I always recommend you working with an attorney. It just depends on the situation. Sometimes it's literally only $200 more expensive to actually work with an attorney than it is to do it on your own through LegalZoom or filing. I was watching a video the other day, and the girl was showing, hey, this is how you actually go file for your LLC. This is how you get everything set up. But there's some very important things that need to take place in the fundamental structuring of your LLC, depending on where you live. One thing in particular that I see people miss every single time is annual minutes for your company. That is one thing that people miss, which if you've set up with an attorney, you may have a service with them that they basically make sure that that is provided every single year. The other thing that I see missed a lot is when people are formulating their LLCs or whatever type of business it is, they are not putting the public notices in public newspapers. So there's typically, in your area, a news source that is where they will make public notices and you'll need to actually do that if you're setting up your LLC on your own. A lot of people miss this step. If you're having an attorney involved, they're going to make sure that, oh, you need to have a public notice out for 3 weeks straight on the new formulation of your company in order to, why are we setting up entities? In order to keep the corporate veil in place. See, the thing is, when you go into business, we're setting up a separate entity. And we set up these separate entities for taxes, but also protection. Huge, huge, huge protection. And if you're down the line, you're really making sure that if something happens in the business, that it protects you as a person from the business's doings. And if there's these foundational steps that haven't been followed in the formulation of your company, then it doesn't take a genius attorney to actually pierce the corporate veil and come after you personally. So I strongly recommend you know what you're doing when you're setting up your LLC. You're also going to need your EIN number from the IRS. It's very easy to actually get it. You can do it online, and literally you go to the IRS and set it up here. And this is what I'm saying. You don't necessarily need to do this right away, but it's a powerful step that's in the process, and it just depends on how you're setting it up. Once again, I'm going to emphasize that, Wise Guys and Ties is here to help you. Free 30-minute consultations. You can find our information in the link below. You can reach out to CJ Wallace at creditwiz at investorpro.org. We'll have his information down there below. You guys know CJ, you trust CJ. He is absolutely phenomenal at what he does, and we're here to help you too. So this is a lot of what I wanted to come with you guys today. During the next few weeks, we are going to be bringing a whole lot more out to you. We have some scheduled webinars, some scheduled trainings where we're bringing you the most up-to-date information. Subscribe and like to the Velocity channel if you're just coming across us for the first time. Also, journey over to Wise Guys and Ties YouTube channel. Hit subscribe and you can get all updates on both personal credit, business financing, and everything in the mix in between. And if you want to learn more about how to build business credit, reach out to us. You can go over to wiseguysandties.com. If you go over to wiseguysandties.com, you'll see our little Owly guy here and all sorts of things. You can find out information on building business credit, We have articles that we put out every single week. We have all sorts of things. Look here, 5 things to consider when using business credit cards for personal use. If you're in a situation for that, check out that article. We also have our weekly events here that are taking place. These are free online webinars. How to build business credit, that's actually this webinar that's taking place right here. You can sign up and get the Zoom links for that. Business credit direct funding, how are next Tuesday we're going to be talking about all the changes that took place and how to access loans for the SBA right now. And if you're looking to get a loan right now for your business, reach out to us. Let's talk about that. Let's see, we can point you in the right direction. And then, of course, every Tuesday night, right here on the Velocity channel, the Credit Banking Mastermind. And if you sign up right here, this is actually where you can get the Zoom links every single week. And so you can actually gain private back access to the Zoom webinar. But you can always watch it here on the Velocity channel or plug into the Zoom webinar. We are here to help you folks, especially through this time. But I want you to know that we're praying. We're praying for each and every one of you, all of you out there in the world of business ownership, out there in the world of personal finance struggles. I want you to know that Joseph Smith, myself, CJ Wallace, we're praying for you guys. We know that this is a tough time. And if you're still on this line right here, I want to pray for you right now. Lord, whoever's listening to us right now, let's pray together. Let's just understand that in you, your will is beauty. And we understand that all things good come from you. We understand that in times of hardships and uncertainty that we can look to you, Lord, and we know that you will always continue to provide us with everything we need. Like you say, the birds, they don't worry about storing up. They don't worry about how they're going to eat. And so we don't need to worry either, Lord, because you will always provide. I just ask that you give whoever the person on the other side of the YouTube channel right here, right now, you just give them the strength, you give them the encouragement to be able to weather any storm. And I just ask, Lord, that you just continue to look out and over all of us and protect us through these times. In Jesus' name we pray, amen. I hope that found you in good place. I want you to know that we're here for you. We're here to support you, and reach out to us. Even if you just want somebody to talk to because you're uncertain of what's going to happen with your business, we're here, and no better time to band together than now. Have a wonderful Thursday. Good afternoon, good night, and God bless.